Hello, Shanann.
Hello, Laura.
Lovely to have you here. And the first time that we sat down together to ever discuss your department was back in 2010 when we first met. So it's lovely to be coming round full circle in April 2025 to talk about corporate and relocation services.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
I wondered whether you might be able to tell me a bit more about the department in its current format. Obviously, it first started with just you and then myself in 2010. Would you be able to expand a little bit on the department itself now and the different remits that you have?
Yeah. It's come a long way, and in some sense it is very similar to when you helped me set it up 15 years ago, but in many senses we've expanded the number of remits. So now we service not only relocation agents who are helping their clients to relocate into the UK, we help embassies helping their diplomats who are here on 2 to 3 year rotations. We help people that are moving with football clubs. Also, we've got an academic lets desk. We have also got a short lets division as well. So anything from a couple of weeks to 6 months, we can service those people as well.
Fantastic. Sounds like you've got a lot going on. So you obviously still, like you said, have the relocation agent side of the business. Could you perhaps go a little further into the direct business? It sounds almost like a conflict that you have two sides of your department, one that is helping someone that's retained, one that's almost going in to get the rest of that business.
Yes. They are two very separate remits. And they don't cross over, and as you know, it never has actually in the past 15 years. And the reason being mainly is people that are using a relocation agent are usually supported by their companies who are paying for their move into the UK. So they have an outsourced person who comes to our department who then use us as a preferred property partner when sourcing their property. For direct business, it's anyone who doesn't qualify for the use of a relocation agent. So it could be an embassy. It could be a footballer coming through their agent. It could be a celebrity that's here on tour, and lots of other fun bits. And they come to us as their only sole property provider when trying to source a property for one of those individuals moving over to the UK for any of those purposes.
And I suspect that's a real perk, actually, when you're instructing an agent to market your property, to have a department that is, by the sounds of it, it's still very much a proactive approach. So as opposed to just waiting for tenants to arrive, you are still, by the sounds of it, going out and getting those relationships and bringing those tenants into Hamptons.
Yeah, we don't do huge amounts of marketing. So a lot of what we do is word of mouth. So people do recommend us, but we do proactively go out to source those contacts. They're typically HR departments, normally title and resources, don't have the funding to be able to outsource this service to a relocation agent. So they are always almost happy to hear from us to offer this service. They don't even know it exists. So it's very much a handheld service with that HR contact and that employee that is moving over to the UK. So they don't have to phone around multiple agents. They don't have to scout the market. We guide them on legislation and prepare them for the competitive market that is in the UK at the moment.
Great. So just pulling you back again into the comparison between 2010 and 2025, it sounds like the tenants are there. You've got fabulous relationships and these wonderful high net worths coming through, looking for your department's support. What would you say has been the real difference within Hamptons? Obviously working under a really trusted big brand, but I seem to feel like back in 2010, we weren't necessarily able to service clients, tenants, really at that sort of level. And, what's changed? What's so different?
No, it's a good point. We weren't able to, and back then we would have gone to other agents to source those properties. What's changed now is access to the private office stock we have since launching our private office department. So when we get some of these fabulous searches coming through, I'm able to go out to those vendors who are selling these properties and ask if they're willing to let them at this level. So we have direct access to a fabulous array of properties at this level. So private office has made a huge difference to that.
Fantastic. Shanann, one of the major differences that I've personally seen, again, is short lets, I feel, always sort of existed as a concept. Within Hamptons, some offices were doing short lets as sort of standalone offices, but it definitely wasn't something that was at the forefront of everybody's minds in lettings. You mentioned at the beginning that short lets now sits under your remit. Could you expand on that a little bit and tell me more about how?
Absolutely, yeah. We've elaborated on the subdivisions under short lets, and our average short-term rental sits at around 3.5 months.
Wow.
Which isn't super short at all. It's not your Airbnb or Booking.com kind of booking length. But that is due to the reason why people are taking a short let. Our top 3 reasons why people take a short let is for temporary accommodation before corporates find their permanent move. The other one is renovation, believe it or not. Started out during COVID and carried on. People are wanting a bit more of a permanent base whilst these renovations take place. People are waiting longer for renovations to start, let alone complete.
Sure.
So yeah, sales, renovation, so people in between chains as well.
Definitely.
And then lastly, productions. So we, as you know, we deal with a lot of production companies, and London and the UK more generally is a popular place for filming for lots of reasons. So that is one of the top 3 reasons why people might take a short let. So this product doesn't really exist outside of estate agency and the kind of short let model that we have. So we're appealing to quite a wide audience there.
And I think it's incredibly cool to be able to say that, you know, when a production's happening, not only can we house your actors, actresses, you know, your set teams, everybody that works in it, but also more recently, having a specific part that helps with filming.
Absolutely.
So locations.
Our locations desk, which again, very recently launched in the last year or so, has been extremely popular. So these are not your typical landlords who have their properties on for long-term rental. It's people that are selling their properties and they just want a bit of an extra income stream whilst trying to get their property to market and actually getting it sold.
I think if the TV show was exciting enough, you could persuade me to move out of my own house just for a couple of weeks or a couple of days to film something fun.
I had the BBC in my house actually just before Christmas filming.
Have what you wish for.
Yes, exactly.
Right. One of the other fantastic things that I've noticed since being back in Hamptons over the past 4 years is that there is an extraordinarily successful build-to-rent department, which I know you and I used to really wish for access to far more apartments, other locations that perhaps weren't within the normal office network. And I wondered if you could talk a bit about that and also perhaps how that's helped shape the academic let side of our remit as well.
Yeah, our build-to-rent department has opened up huge amounts of opportunity for us. So where we weren't able to operate before, we now are. We've just agreed 50 units in Preston for a company to move their staff into in June. And companies that are offering our service as an employee benefit, they're now able to expand that to other regions because of our footprint outside of the normal Hamptons network. And for academic lets, as you know, it's been an exciting expansion of what we do. And we're able to work with universities across the UK where we don't have a presence and house students well ahead of time. And build-to-rent have been absolutely pivotal in us growing that academic lets business. So hopefully more to come on that this year.
Great. Last but not least, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
If there was one person or department within the Hamptons network that you feel has, I don't know, surprised you or brought you the most exciting business connection over the past few years, who would it be?
Am I allowed to say you?
No. Okay, yes. Yes, you can.
And I know it sounds corny, but with us having worked so closely together 15 years ago, 4 years at another company before then as well. I think you have helped us to re-establish ourselves as the go-to contact for relocation agents. I know you have a whole family of literally of relocation agents, and it's just reaffirmed our position there, and we are the go-to agent. So I'm thrilled that you came back after I begged you for a number of months, and I'd say that's made a huge impact in where we are today and where we're going this year. It's all very exciting.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure working together again for the last 4 years, helping to rebuild the department and to grow these remits. And I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing where the next few years takes us.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine.